can buy the fastest bike on the lot or the loudest one at the rally, but none of that matters when your engine quits halfway through the ride. In this countdown, we're revealing the 7 most reliable Japanese motorcycle engines ever made. These machines were built to last forever. Number 7. Yamaha XT 660. There are engines that are fast, engines that are powerful, and engines that are beautifully engineered. Then there are engines that simply refuse to die. That is exactly what you get with the Yamaha XT 660 single-cylinder thumper. A motor so reliable, entire generations of riders have built their lives around it. This engine is not about high-performance bragging rights. It is about waking up in the morning, kicking the starter, and knowing without a doubt that it will run no matter what the day brings. The XT's air-cooled 4-stroke engine ranges in size from 595 to 660 cubic centimeters, depending on the model and year. It delivers around 45 horsepower and roughly 44 pound-feet of torque, giving it enough grunt to pull through sand, gravel, and broken terrain without hesitation. And while it may not win races against modern machines, it will outlast most of them in the long haul. This is a motor built on mechanical honesty. No electronic fuel injection, no ride-by-wire, no digital complexity. Just a big-bore single-cylinder that thumps, pulls, and keeps going. Its design is simple, but that is precisely what makes it so effective. A basic overhead camshaft, a single carburetor or simple fuel injection system depending on the version, and a 5-speed gearbox make the XT incredibly easy to maintain. There is no liquid cooling system to leak, no sensors to fail, and no computers to confuse you. And with a generous oil capacity and large cooling fins, it manages heat better than most engines in its class, especially when crawling through hot trails or navigating desert terrain. This engine has been used in rally bikes, enduros, dual sports, and even military motorcycles. That kind of versatility tells you everything you need to know. It has been trusted to cross continents, explore uncharted trails, and survive year after year with only oil changes, valve checks, and the occasional air filter cleaning. You can stall it in knee-deep water, drop it off a hill, kick it back to life, and ride away like nothing ever happened. As for the rest of the machine, the XT lineup is rugged. The suspension typically includes a long-travel telescopic front fork and a monoshock rear, designed to soak up off-road abuse. Braking is usually handled by a front disc and a rear drum or disc, depending on the model year. Most versions of the XT 660 weigh just under 400 pounds, making them easy to pick up when dropped and light enough to navigate tight trails without drama. The chassis is simple, with a steel frame that can take hits without cracking, and the seat height offers plenty of clearance for off-road riders. It is tall, yes, but that is part of the DNA. What makes the XT 660 engine legendary is not just how long it lasts, but how little it demands from you. It does not need premium fuel, constant tuning, or a mechanic on speed dial. It simply needs respect, and in return, it will take you farther than most riders ever plan to go. Pricing for a well-maintained used XT 660 typically falls in the range of $5,000 to $7,000, depending on condition and location. Considering its legacy, parts availability, and longevity, that price is a bargain for what many call the most bulletproof single-cylinder Japan has ever made. Now get ready, because next on the list is a V-twin that built its fan base one unstoppable mile at a time. If these engines are surprising you with their longevity, hit the like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got more powerful engines on the way that have stood the test of time. Number 6. Suzuki SV 650 V-twin. When it comes to motorcycles that just keep going no matter how hard you ride them, the SV 650 has built a reputation few others can match. This bike was never designed to impress with flashy numbers or exotic technology. Instead, its strength lies in being incredibly consistent, durable, and surprisingly fun, especially for everyday riders who want performance without the fuss. From the moment it rolled onto the scene in the late 1990s, the SV carved out a loyal following among new riders, commuters, and weekend warriors who all discovered the same thing. This engine just doesn't quit. At the heart of the SV is a liquid-cooled, 4-stroke 90-degree V-twin engine that displaces 645 cubic centimeters. It delivers around 75 horsepower and approximately 47 pound-feet of torque, making it powerful enough for spirited riding, but forgiving enough for new riders to handle with confidence. The double overhead camshaft setup and 4 valves per cylinder keep the engine breathing smoothly at all ranges, while fuel injection ensures easy starts and consistent performance in all weather conditions. The SV's power delivery is where it really shines. Torque comes in low, so you get instant pull when you twist the throttle, but it's delivered with a smoothness that feels more refined than most bikes in its class. That smoothness makes city riding and backroad carving equally enjoyable. It's an engine that never feels overstressed and rarely gives any hint of strain, even when pushed hard for extended periods. The bike itself is built around a lightweight trellis frame that gives it a perfect balance of strength and agility. The front suspension is a conventional telescopic fork, while the rear setup uses a link-type single shock, both tuned for comfort and control rather than aggressive race handling. Braking is handled by dual-disc brakes up front and a single disc in the rear, providing confident stopping power without requiring constant adjustments. With a curb weight of around 436 pounds, the SV is light enough to flick through corners, but solid enough to inspire confidence at highway speeds. What makes this engine so reliable isn't just how it's built, though the metallurgy and assembly quality are excellent. It's also about how easy it is to take care of. Valve checks and oil changes are straightforward, and spark plug access is relatively open compared to more tightly packed modern engines. Replacement parts are widely available, and there's a huge network of riders and mechanics who know the SV inside and out. It's one of those bikes that invites you to learn basic maintenance yourself, because everything about it is simple, well thought out, and mechanically honest. Real-world owners have documented these engines passing the 100,000-mile mark with nothing more than routine maintenance. No overhauls, no catastrophic failures, just a steady, dependable motor that keeps delivering mile after mile. Whether used as a daily commuter, weekend canyon carver, or light track bike, the SV has earned its place in motorcycling history by doing everything well without demanding much in return. With a starting price of $7,149, the SV offers one of the best reliability-to-dollar ratios in the motorcycle world. It is approachable without being boring, efficient without being underpowered, and reliable without being bland. Riders keep coming back to this platform because it just works, year after year, ride after ride. Need solid gear to match your next bike? The right stuff's already linked below. Coming up next, an inline 4 that made reliability cool before anyone else caught on. Number 5. Honda CB 750 Inline 4. When it first rolled off the assembly line in 1969, no one quite realized just how much this engine would change the motorcycle world. At the time, performance and reliability rarely lived in the same machine. You either got power or you got consistency. Not both. Then came the CB 750. Its engine, a 736 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline 4, flipped the industry on its head. Honda's use of a single overhead camshaft and 5-speed transmission created a smooth, confident ride that made other manufacturers scramble to catch up. The CB engine became the new standard by simply refusing to quit. This was an era when most motorcycles demanded regular wrench time to stay in motion, yet riders found that this engine would fire up day after day without complaint, even after being left in a shed all winter. Reports of these engines passing the 200,000-mile mark on original internals are not myths. They're a testament to over-engineering done right. Tight tolerances, reliable metallurgy, and well-spaced cooling fins allowed the engine to manage heat without falling apart. That meant you could ride it hard, leave it wet, and still trust it to take you home. Performance-wise, this engine was a revelation. It produced just over 68 horsepower and around 44 pound-feet of torque, strong numbers for the late 1960s and still respectable by today's standards for a classic bike. The power came on smoothly without the sudden jumps or dips that plagued many competitors. That made it approachable for newer riders but still engaging for veterans. It wasn't a track monster, but it was a real-world performer, one that made both city riding and highway cruising a joy. The hardware was just as dependable as the motor. It featured dual disc brakes up front in later years, a solid telescopic fork, and twin rear shocks that, while basic by today's standards, were more than enough for the chassis. The engine sat in a tubular steel double cradle frame that prioritized strength over weight savings, tipping the scale at around 495 pounds wet. This extra heft gave the bike a planted feel, especially on the highway, and the overall build quality was nothing short of rock solid. Maintenance was straightforward, which only helped cement the CB's reputation. Valve adjustments, oil changes, and carburetor syncing were all tasks that could be tackled in a garage with basic tools. Honda even made service manuals clear and widely available. In fact, the ease of maintenance helped fuel the rise of a whole generation of home mechanics, many of whom are still riding the same engine 50 years later. The price today for a well-maintained CB750 varies depending on condition and originality, but expect to pay around $4,500 to $6,500 for a good example. It's one of the rare classic bikes where the cost of ownership is still reasonable, especially considering what you get in return: timeless styling, unmatched reliability, and an engine that simply refuses to die. It's not just a motorcycle engine, it's a milestone. And for riders who grew up hearing about the original superbike, this machine is living history on two wheels. From revolution to legacy, the CB750 still holds its crown. And what comes next? It's the kind of thumper that doesn't care about changing with the times, because it never had to. Number 4. Suzuki DR 650 SE single cylinder. There is something about the sound of a single-cylinder thumper that tells you this machine was built to last. The DR 650 SE from Suzuki has become legendary not because it dominates spec sheets, but because it consistently outlasts them. This is a bike stripped down to its purest mechanical essence. No complicated electronics, no fragile sensors, and certainly no delicate computer systems. What you get is a workhorse engine that just refuses to quit, no matter where you ride it or how hard you push it. The DR 650 SE is powered by a 4-stroke, air-cooled, single overhead camshaft engine that displaces 644 cubic centimeters. That motor produces around 43 horsepower and 47 pound-feet of torque, modest numbers on paper, but extremely usable in the real world. The 5-speed gearbox is smooth and predictable, and the simplicity of the powertrain means it is far less prone to the failures that often plague more complex machines. This bike thrives in environments that would sideline more modern competitors, from high-altitude mountain passes to muddy trails and sun-scorched deserts. The suspension setup includes a telescopic fork up front with just under 11 inches of travel and a link-type rear suspension that can be tuned for various loadouts. Braking duties are handled by a single front disc and a single rear disc, both offering solid, no-nonsense stopping power. The dry weight of the bike comes in at around 366 pounds, which gives it a sturdy yet manageable presence both on-road and off. With a seat height of 34.8 inches, it is not the lowest bike on the market, but its upright posture gives you excellent visibility and control. What truly sets the DR 650 SE apart, however, is how little it asks from its owner. Routine oil changes, valve clearance checks, and cleaning or replacing the air filter are often all it takes to keep this engine running strong. Riders commonly report odometer readings north of 100,000 miles without ever cracking the engine case open. That kind of durability is almost unheard of in today's high-tech, over-engineered landscape. Serviceability is another major reason this engine has achieved cult status. Nearly every part of the powertrain is accessible with basic tools, and the design encourages do-it-yourself maintenance. Whether you are in a garage with a full set of wrenches or on the side of a dirt road with only a multi-tool, this bike gives you a real chance to make it home. Parts are widely available and affordable, and the engine's architecture has remained consistent enough over the decades that you can rely on a global community of riders who know exactly how to keep it running. The DR 650 SE has been in Suzuki's lineup since the early 1990s with very few changes, and that is no accident. The design works. It works so well that Suzuki has not felt the need to overhaul it. It is the motorcycle equivalent of a good pair of boots, unpretentious, dependable, and ready for anything. When your ride needs to be as tough as your destination, this engine delivers mile after mile. You can abuse it, drop it, drown it, and even neglect it for a while. This engine will still start and carry you to your next stop. Up next, we have an engine so smooth and balanced, it feels less like a motor and more like a mechanical soul. Number 3. Honda GL 1800 Goldwing Flat 6. Luxury on two wheels has always had a gold standard, and at the heart of that standard is an engine known for outlasting not just bikes, but expectations. The Flat 6 powering the Goldwing is not just reliable, it is legendary. With a displacement of 1,833 cubic centimeters, this six-cylinder liquid-cooled engine is laid out in a horizontally opposed configuration, which gives it perfect natural balance and one of the smoothest rides ever engineered into a motorcycle. This motor is tuned for sustained performance, not sudden bursts. It delivers around 125 pound-feet of torque and produces approximately 120 horsepower, all while running at remarkably low stress. That means you can ride it hard across state lines or cruise all day without ever feeling like the bike is straining. Because the torquey curve is so wide and consistent, the bike pulls cleanly at any speed, making it ideal for both low-speed touring and high-speed highway overtakes. The engine is mated to a 6-speed transmission with overdrive, and it runs through a shaft drive system instead of a chain. That means there's less wear and tear over time, less mess, and far fewer headaches for the rider. With proper maintenance, it is not uncommon for these engines to surpass 200,000 miles and still run smooth. Valve inspections, oil changes, and coolant flushes are all this platform typically asks for, and if you stick to the service schedule, it just keeps going. The cooling system is a 2-radiator setup with thermostatically controlled fans that ensure the engine never runs too hot. Even in heavy traffic or under load from two-up riding with luggage, the Goldwing's motor stays cool and composed. The electronic fuel injection system works seamlessly to keep the ride silky and predictable, even when elevation or weather changes. Weighing in at just over 860 pounds fully fueled, the Goldwing is no lightweight, but it does not need to be. The chassis and suspension are built around the engine's center of gravity. Up front, it uses a double wishbone front suspension, an extremely rare feature on motorcycles that allows the front end to remain stable under braking while absorbing road imperfections. In the rear, a Pro-Link system keeps the back tire planted and comfortable even on long hauls. Combined, the suspension and engine balance make the bike feel much lighter than the scale suggests. Braking is handled by dual front discs and a single rear disc, all equipped with anti-lock braking system for added safety. The stopping power is excellent, particularly considering the bike's size, and the brakes rarely fade even on steep downhill stretches or extended touring rides. The base model of the GL 1800 Goldwing starts at around $24,500, while more equipped trims like the Tour version can push well above $30,000. Still, riders around the world continue to invest in this machine not for its flash, but because of what sits between their knees. It is reliable, it is refined, and it is ready for the long road ahead. Now that we have covered the ultimate in touring smoothness, get ready, because the next engine on this list is built for screaming red lines, razor precision, and durability you would not expect from something this aggressive. If you're loving this deep dive into the most reliable motorcycle engines, subscribe now to get more insights. We're only just getting started and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Number 2. Honda CBR 600RR Inline 4. There are performance engines, and then there are machines so well balanced that they seem engineered to outlast time itself. The CBR 600RR falls firmly into that second category. This motor has built a reputation not only for how hard it can be ridden, but for how long it can survive under the kind of strain that would send most sport bike engines to the scrapyard. First released in the early 2000s, this liquid-cooled, dual overhead camshaft inline four-cylinder engine quickly proved itself on both the street and the track. The heart of this engine is its high-revving nature. It spins well beyond 15,000 revolutions per minute and does it with a smoothness and control that reflects the quality of its internals. With a peak output of around 105 horsepower, it pulls aggressively through the entire rev range without feeling overworked or unpredictable. Torque comes in at roughly 45 pound-feet, arriving higher in the range as expected from a supersport engine, but delivered in a predictable, refined manner. Engine displacement sits at 599 cubic centimeters, a size that has been the gold standard in the middleweight category for decades. The true strength of this engine lies in its durability. Riders who regularly commute, tour, and track their bikes report engines easily exceeding 100,000 miles with nothing more than regular oil changes, valve inspections, and air filter maintenance. It is not uncommon to see high-mileage examples still performing with factory internals, a testament to Honda's obsessive attention to detail. Forged pistons, low-friction coatings, and high-quality bearings all contribute to keeping internal wear to a minimum, even when the engine is ridden near redline for extended periods. The transmission paired with this engine is a 6-speed gearbox that shifts with surgical precision. It's not only smooth, but remarkably consistent over time. Clutch pull is light, yet the unit is tough enough to withstand clutch-up downshifts and hard acceleration. Combined with a stable, lightweight aluminum twin-spar frame, the total package offers excellent feedback and razor-sharp handling. Braking is handled by dual radial-mounted 4-piston front calipers and a single rear caliper, bringing the bike to a stop with confidence. Suspension is fully adjustable front and rear, ensuring it can be fine-tuned for comfort or track precision. The CBR 600RR weighs in at approximately 435 pounds wet, keeping it nimble enough for spirited riding without sacrificing the kind of stability you want at high speeds. The low weight, coupled with its strong mid-range power, gives it one of the most balanced real-world riding experiences of any Japanese supersport motorcycle ever produced. With a base price hovering around $12,100, it sits in a competitive space, but none of its rivals can match its reputation for longevity. But the number one spot, that goes to the simplest engine Japan ever perfected. Number 1. Honda CG 125 and CG 150 single-cylinder. Some engines are designed to impress. Others are built to endure. The Honda CG 125 and CG 150 fall firmly in the second category. While many modern bikes are packed with complex electronics, overhead camshafts, and racing pedigree, the CG series relies on something much simpler: brutal mechanical honesty. Originally developed in the mid-1970s for emerging markets, this engine wasn't designed for speed. It was created to survive. Over rough roads, through brutal climates, and in the hands of riders who often treat maintenance as optional. At the heart of the CG is an air-cooled 4-stroke single-cylinder engine that ranges between 124 and 149 cubic centimeters depending on the model. What truly separates it from other small displacement engines is its use of a pushrod valve system rather than an overhead camshaft. That decision, though considered old school by some, was intentional. Honda engineers knew that riders in developing regions might not have access to advanced service shops, so they made an engine with fewer moving parts, a simpler layout, and reduced valve stress. The result? An engine that runs clean, burns consistently, and asks for little more than oil and fuel. In terms of output, this single-cylinder engine produces between 11 and 15 horsepower and delivers torque between 8 and 10 pound-feet, depending on the displacement variant. These numbers may seem modest, but that's missing the point. This engine wasn't designed for speed, it was designed to start every morning, carry a heavy load, and survive in places where gas quality, terrain, and climate are all working against it. And that's exactly what it has done for nearly 5 decades. The mechanical package surrounding the engine is just as bulletproof. The CG bikes typically weigh in around 265 pounds, making them extremely light and manageable. Braking is handled by drum brakes, both front and rear. No fancy dual-disc system here. The suspension setup consists of a standard telescopic front fork and twin shock absorbers in the rear. While basic by today's standards, this arrangement is incredibly durable, especially for rough road conditions and heavy daily use. There's no fuel injection, no ride modes, no digital instrument panels, just a tank, an engine, and a kickstarter. What makes this engine truly legendary, though, is its track record. Couriers in Africa regularly ride these bikes over 100,000 miles with only basic oil changes and air filter cleanings. In parts of South America and Southeast Asia, entire motorcycle fleets are still powered by CG engines built decades ago. They have carried construction workers to job sites, families to market, and deliveries through flooded alleyways. And they keep going, even after being dropped, overheated, or stored in sheds for years. It is not uncommon to find a CG with a cracked fender, a bent lever, and missing paint, but with an engine that fires up on the first kick. With a new unit price averaging around $1,600, this is one of the most affordable motorcycles on Earth. Thanks for watching. If these durable engines have you rethinking your next bike, give it a thumbs up, leave your thoughts in the comments, and make sure to subscribe for more insights.